So now we come to the final parts of my lecture and this module. And what I want to do now is I want to give a bit of an outlook on the key challenges that I see in this community for blockchain, and for as a business community, if you want. There's multiple challenges. There are technological challenges, there are legal challenges, and there are economic challenges in terms of economic functions. And I think all of these require a lot of attention. And in particular, the interaction of these three areas is absolutely critical in order for this to work. So let's quickly talk about the technology parts. Now, this is my personal take, but people who are in the technology space will probably have a different opinion here. Scalability of blockchains is absolutely critical. With 7 to 15 transactions per second, we're not going to get anywhere. Interoperability of blockchains, so the ability to stretch to bridge blockchains is going to be essential. Cybersecurity and privacy, there's not much have to be say. Functionality, that will be the biggest challenge because at the moment this is a world for specialists with engineering, computer science backgrounds. You wanted to be able to have a 50-year-old who's never heard about the blockchain be able to use this. We need to develop tools to improve smart contract verification and auditing if you want, and features of this. Finally, we also need to worry about really big things of the usability of blockchains, such as the finality of a blockchain transaction. Now, there are legal questions. Does the law have to accommodate new tech? If so, how? Legal governments, what rule can and should platforms develop? What can be implemented? What can be implemented by code, and how can we translate this into a legal framework? What are legal contracts for token design, and how can tokens and the law be married? So the law should be tech neutral, but is it? Does it have to be? Is there changes necessary? There's really quite critical questions that need to be answered in order for innovation to progress. And finally, and I think this is actually questions and problems of first order importance if this ecosystem is ever going to work. And these are the economic questions. So we need to understand better how much you have to pay operators of a chain in the long run so that this works. Bitcoin eventually loses the coin base. So at that point, in my opinion, it's doomed. A better blockchain needs to take into account that they need to provide Coinbase rewards. I presented the model today of Emiliano Pagnotta, and people are thinking about how to do this the right way, but this is a very hard question. The governance of the systems is equally of first order important for businesses. Nobody wants to enter an ecosystem, make a few $1 million in investment, and then be at the mercy of random people doing random voting. So you need to have proper governance of these systems. Then you want to, platforms that develop need to have an eye on how they interact with the outside world. For the longest time, people were very keen on prices of their cryptocurrencies to increase. But the real problem is you need to have an interaction with the outside world. Any platform does, unless everything you do happens on the blockchain. And it doesn't, because you still have to buy your food in the supermarket. And people still get paid in fiat currency. Unless everything is on the blockchain, you will have to think about the interaction with it. So for that, you have to think about your blockchain as an open economy, macroeconomy. And finally, there has to be major improvements are necessary in terms of token design, also in terms of the corporate finance implications of designs of payments or tokens. All right, so this is all that I have to say for this set of slides. For the future of blockchain is recording ownership on the blockchain, of course, this is a no-brainer. And we can actually already do a lot of what we do in the current world using the existing blockchains. The blockchain tokens can do a lot more. And I think the critical part is for people to develop applications and use cases where actually these tokens add value and can work. Now, this requires very careful thought. It does not require only technology. It requires an understanding of the economic interactions that are involved. Basically all my other comments say the same thing. Now, tokens and this economy can have some real value, but you need to think about this carefully. Now, this entire hype that we've seen over the last 2 years was probably out of order because you can't blockchain everything, but there's many applications where you can think about information being put on a distributed ledger and then run that way, where that can create real value for people. That's it.